stream to wait for a game which could be 20 minutes away. So instead, we are getting into, this time though, DIMAGA versus BlinG, which I think is a pretty nice catch, and it is going to be best of 3 here in the round of 32 of the tournament. All you have to do today is make it to the round of 8, the quarterfinals, and you get invited to play tomorrow in stage 2 of the competition. And I'm pretty sure, I think it's going to be covered by on ESL TV, and I imagine Base Rate are probably going to provide a stream as well. So make sure you check that out. Again, I'm not really sure what time it's taking place at, but I'll sure you'll be able to find it on the TL calendar. For now, though, let's introduce our players. We have a ZVP on our hands, and again, it's quite an interesting one too. Fan favourites. In the north side of the map from IEM, we have our red Zerg player. It's DIMAGA. And down to the south, representing Team Dignitas, we do have the blue Protoss player from the UK. It's BlinG. Again, BlinG has been doing really great lately, honestly. I mean, I know you may not have seen much of him in tournaments, but back at Gfinity, the last Gfinity, I remember when he took a map off SOS, he was, you know, I literally told this story earlier today when I was laddering. But he was playing really well back then, and his barcode on the ladder was really high up. So he really is doing pretty well lately. Probably better than he's done in a long while. I know in the SE2 Improved Team League semi-finals the other day, he actually saved Dignitas Dead Pixels when they were playing against Baguette. He came in as the ace player. After Patience, True, and Fantasy had been knocked out, BlinG came in and won 2 maps to send his team to the grand finals against Team Liquid. So really has been kind of on fire from what I've seen of him lately and what I've heard of him. And we'll see how well he does in this qualifier. I imagine he has to be one of the favourites to at least move through into stage 2 tomorrow. But of course, once you get into stage 2, you have all of the kind of classic top, you know, European players who are going to be up in contending as well. I mean, I believe Bunny, Snoot, Mana probably. I think TLO, Firecake, Lilbo, and there's someone else who I had in my mind, but I've forgotten. Showtime is there as well. And then there must be one guy I've forgotten, because I think that's 7, / I messed up one. But yeah, the invites are out. They'll probably be on the Wikipedia if you guys want to check them out. These couple of things being annoying and chasing this probe away. BlinG just going to be retreating home as fast as he can with this. DIMAGA going into these 3 hatcheries nice and quick, and this is something which BlinG was more or less able to confirm. He sees the one on the low ground, and while that was taken as the natural here to be able to get that creep spread a little bit fast out on the map, he will be able to more or less assume that the 3rd hatchery will be taken from that point. I mean, if you're going to do something from 2 bases, you're probably not going to risk your expansion so much earlier on for no real reason. So BlinG should be quite confident with what's happening right now. He's going to take a little bit of damage on his cyber core, but he's walled off here with that Zealot. His mothership core is about to pop out, and a Stalker about to pop out here as well in the next few moments. So he's going to be able to clean up these Zerglings, no real issue. His own Nexus is up in the natural. And again, this is pretty much everything you would expect so far from a PvZ. I mean, a little bit of a slow start, but just the general fairly game units coming out here. Stalker, Mothership Core, Zealot, and a couple of Lings attempting to scout / be slightly annoying for BlinG. No mega fast gold base, I guess, which is something we can mention. Only kind of one of the... well, I'd say one of the weirder maps to do it on, but it's still definitely a map you can do, and you can see BlinG's actually scouting for this right now. He's checking to see if that gold base is taken. He knows it's a possibility, so these things thinking about going up in towards the main base, and in fact DIMAGA going to decide to go in here. Mothership Core on its own is not going to be enough to turn these away. BlinG going to continue chasing these, and we'll have to deal with those in the next couple of moments as Stalker and Zealot are pushing across the map. 8 Lings on the way to try and come out and defend here, but we'll see how much damage BlinG can get done with this Stalker Zealot. This one Zergling's been taken down, the other one still alive, moving around, and, well, can you get this Queen? I'm not sure if you'll really be able to get the Queen. If you can get it low, the Mothership Core might be able to come in and finish it off, and has to be a little bit careful. He's on creeps, these Speedlings, or Slowlings, will be able to get quite a bit of damage done. That Stalker finally will be able to get out of range of that, and as the Zealot actually going to change direction and move on to the drones instead of that Queen. Second Queen comes down, which is a nice little move, because again, that's kind of going to be necessary here as the Mothership Core comes in, and I think only 1 worker killed there by BlinG, 2 overall. And not bad at all. Mothership Core going to turn around, saw that there was 2 queens there again, not really going to be able to achieve too much, and DIMAGA going to set up with double evolution chambers. So this could very well be a melee upgrade build, as these Zerglings will get turned away. Melee upgrade build potentially, but no Zergling speed just yet. I mean, I guess if he really wanted to, he could go for a... I guess if he really wanted to, he could add on the Roach Roar and just go from Roach upgrades, but again, he doesn't have the roach run, so something is missing here out of the build of DIMAGA right now, and we're yet to see what it will be. As it's going to be melee upgrades, so we're just missing Zergling speed for now, and I'm sure he will start that up soon enough. He's not got the gas for it just yet. I mean, I assume the assumption is that it's better to get your upgrades started as soon as possible, because, you know, upgrades are something which are going to reward you later in the game for starting earlier, whereas Zergling speed, it doesn't matter if you get it now or a little bit earlier on, because you're going to have it for the later stages of the game as well. He's not intending to use the Zerglings aggressively early, so, you know, why invest into it? This Oracle hasn't achieved too much free kills. There was that Stargate on the way behind all of that going on earlier. We've got a Forge up now also, but nothing really too major from the Stargate, just this one Oracle. Again, not too much damage done by it, and more than anything, BlinG just wanted to keep this alive to do a little bit of damage here and there, keep a bit of map control, keep an eye on what his opponent's doing, save sentry energy by not having to hallucinate, because this Oracle can, of course, do a fair amount of scouting himself. So this Oracle just chilling around. He's actually going to come back in towards this main base, and again, just going to look around. He sees that drone, but he's not paying attention. Or is he? It looks as though he is. So he sees that, he recognizes here that DIMAGA's trying to take this gold base, and he's racing back to be able to stop it, and again, he'll deny this gold base from going up. So DIMAGA not quite able to get his fourth up and running just yet. The melee upgrades and Zergling speed on the way though, and that's something which BlinG, I guess, has he really been able to identify this just yet? He hasn't seen the melee upgrade, or the upgrades, the evolution chambers. He hasn't really seen the, well, he hasn't seen the timing of the lair either. I mean, I guess he might have seen that it wasn't started, but he hasn't really seen too much. He hasn't seen all of these lings moving across the map, so he doesn't know too much just yet. I mean, he's got plenty of sentries, he's got a cannon well walled off as well, so he should be okay to defend this. And as this hallucinated Phoenix moves across, he will see them lings, he will see that speed, and I mean, clicking on them won't do much yet, but something he needs to kind of do is identify that this says +1 on these Zerglings in the next few moments, so once it finishes, if he keeps clicking on these Zerglings, just checking what the upgrades are, that'd be fab. I mean, you might be able to just tell by how much damage the Zerglings are doing, or how much damage he's doing to them when an engagement takes place. But again, it's very important for him to know, so that he can respond correctly to this composition of DIMAGA. 2 starts for DIMAGA plus 2 starts for BlinG, so again, the upgrades just rolling in here. So again, that's kind of why you want to start your melee upgrades earlier in the speed, because again, did it matter that he didn't have speed early? No. Maybe if BlinG had been a bit aggressive, that speed would have been nice, but now as it stands, you know, 2 starts nice and quickly here, so not delaying that for anything, really helping him out, as in the end DIMAGA did just give up and put this 4th base down to the left hand side of the map instead of attempting to take this gold. Oracle still sits in the back of the 3rd base. No further kills since we saw it denying the drones towards the gold though. Some Stalkers, some sentries beginning to move out here a little bit. Looks as though BlinG gonna start moving out and coming in a little bit to attack. He's still figuring out what's going on here though. Templar Archives is kind of the perfect counter to this heavy Zergling style. Archons are going to be great once Ultralisks begin to come up off of the hive. And of course as well, there's going to be Storm available, and Storm's going to really shut down these this heavy Zergling kind of composition early on here. 5 more workers killed here in the main base from that Oracle. BlinG realizing not to move out here with this army, I think probably one of the best decisions you could make right now. The last thing you really want to do is actually be aggressive into this composition, because it's a composition which is meant to be aggressive, right? Like, obviously it has its own transition in towards the late game with Ultralisk tech switch, but you know, it's not a very it's an army which has very good upgrades. There's a lot of it, and it works brilliantly out in the open. So the best thing BlinG can do right now is sit back, sit in a choke point, and let the Zerg attack into him. So, of course, doing that allows him to buy time to slowly build up his immortal count, because again, he is predicting this Ultralist tech switch. It's kind of the standard way to go when the Zerg player plays this sort of opening. And he's also getting his Storm up as well, and I mean, further upgrades are also going to be useful as well. There's that Storm. Clicked on the wrong thing there. So yeah, I mean, Storm on the way, again, is going to work great against these Zerglings, and of course, Storm doesn't care too much about upgrades, as DIMAGA starting to invest into some Spine Coils, realizing that, you know, he might need a little bit of help here. These lings are a little bit flimsy, and again, he's so close to getting this Ultras Cavern up. Warp Prism in towards the main base though, or the natural I should say, and there's going to be a lot of Zealots here trying to work their way through these Spine Coils. Already a good amount of damage being done, and it's going to detract for a lot of attention away from the front, where BlinG is pushing with the rest of his army. These Zerglings start to come in, and BlinG going to save a couple of these Zealots, get away with that Warp Prism. For now, he's just cleaning up creep at the front. That Ultras Cavern has finished. Ultras not on the way just yet. DIMAGA needs to start them as soon as possible. They don't build very quickly, so the sooner you start that, the better. Adrenal Glands on the way. There's that Chitinous Plate, and there's free. So in fact, just upgrades again. Once again, upgrades before anything else. Really relying on kind of a very heavy, on kind of a lot of upgrades in this. composition. Fourth base is on the way for BlinG. I'd love to see a little bit of a run by DIMAGA, checking for that fourth base, trying to shut it down while BlinG is so active out here on the map. Maybe DIMAGA just doesn't expect a fourth base in this sort of scenario, because, I mean, why would you be so aggressive while getting a fourth base? I mean, okay, it distracts DIMAGA a lot, so, you know, obviously it's doing the right thing. It's distracting him, it's making him think there isn't a fourth base. But realistically, I think in DIMAGA's mind, he's saying, well, if you're so worried about, if you're taking a fourth base, you'd actually be worried about protecting it, so you wouldn't be out here with your entire army. So it's actually kind of a mind game in a sort of a way. This attack from BlinG is kind of scary, because again, it's hitting just before these Ultralisks come onto the field. And again, we have this Warprism consistently coming in towards this main base. Damage being done by these Zealots all over the place. Finding the place where these Spike Balls are not. Finally, these Lings decide to hit onto this fourth. A big warping of Zealots coming in here, though. This low number of Zerglings won't do too well against it. Big recall coming in as Zerglings come in, though. And this has been a nice defense by BlinG. Keeps that fourth base alive. And again, he's done so much out on the map. These roads just going to get traded away. Not too much of a deal. DIMAGA doesn't really want those in his composition. They're just eating up supply right now. BlinG, what he's really achieved is regained a lot of map control. DIMAGA's vision has been severely limited. He's got this vision kind of around the watchtower, but apart from that, he has no real idea if an attack's coming up this way until the last moment, or if an attack's coming... I guess he'd know if an attack was coming up the right side because he holds the tower, but again, up this left side, he's very much so blind at this point in time. And that's the position where BlinG is looking to start moving into right now. Up this left-hand side, another rural facility added on, so more Immortals can be added here. And it looks as though a great Aspire transition coming in from DIMAGA. As Queens need to be careful. Losing these Queens is a big deal. With Ultras on the map, with so much energy on them Queens, that is kind of, you know, that was like 8 transfuses he just lost or thereabouts. That's 400 hit points you could have extra on the Ultralisks essentially. And that's a big deal, losing them Queens. Moving forward here, BlinG looking for this fight once again, as he's actually just going to recall. So again, I say looking for the fight, he's not actually, he's just keeping his opponent busy, warping in elsewhere at the same time, and just continuously kind of pressing DIMAGA here and there, while he's always safe, always pulling back without losing anything. He's never at risk. One thing he has to be very careful of as he tries to take down the hive, but will not quite be successful in doing just so yet, is the tech switch into the Great Aspire. Where is that Great Aspire coming up? Because we see Corruptors being added on. He has seen the Spire, but he hasn't seen the Great Spire. He sees some Corruptors now, so again, he has to start thinking about the possibility of Broodlords coming onto the map. It's something which he's not really prepared to deal with at all just yet. I think, again, moving out right now is probably his best opportunity to kind of stop the Broodlords before they come on, but again, he's not really pushing the issue. He's moving out, he's clearing creep and pulling back. But again, he needs something to be able to deal with these Broodlords, because he can't really just blink underneath them, because there's going to be so many melee units on the map that if he blinks underneath them, these Stalkers are just going to be kind of blinking into their own death. So it's a really tough position right now for BlinG. He sends a couple of hallucinated Phoenix onto the map, trying to see what's up. Because he's not been able to hit this timing before the Broodlords come out. He's about to see the Broodlords now for the first time, just to confirm these Corruptors have been made into Broods. And he's going to have to find another answer. He's going to just move forward. He's just going to try and take the fight. It looks as though he is. I mean, he does have Storms available, a lot of Storms available. Can he just blink underneath these Broodlords is going to be the question. He's trying to kite backwards here. He's dropping a Time Orb. He's dropping some Storms as well. The Broodlords completely untouched so far. And again, a lot of these Stalkers kind of in at the middle, or just kind of getting collapsed upon. DIMAGA is going to completely destroy this army. The Broodlords just adding in so much and 14 hotkey. Maybe a hotkey mistake by BlinG. I mean, he didn't use Blink at all. His Storms weren't really the best place, I suppose. And it looks as though now he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, I think he's lost this game. And he blinks forward, so you're going to try to take down these Ultras, but there's a Transfuser coming in on these. And one will die, but another stays alive for a little while longer. And again, there's just too many units under these Broodlords for these Stalkers to realistically blink under them. There we go, they blink forwards, and you can see, yeah, they're killing the Broodlords, but the Stalkers are getting decimated. The Ultras, the Lings, with those upgrades on them as well. It's just too much for BlinG to be able to deal with here. And it looks as though game number 1 is going to be going the way of DIMAGA. Blinks forwards once again, and you know, DIMAGA's kind of running low on units, but again, BlinG is just not quite got enough. And GG is called. DIMAGA going to be able to push through to victory there in game number 1 of this best of 3. Again, let me mute my mic while I have a quick... Again, I'm a little bit ill. I was really ill yesterday. Feeling a lot better today, but again, I still have a little bit of a cough, so excuse me, and excuse me for the coughs which did happen throughout the game as well. And for the sniffling. But hopefully I will be better. I need to get better because next week I'm off to Amsterdam for the Dutch StarCraft League final. It's going to be exciting. Really exciting. I think Ret, Thermal, Goody. Who else is there? Yona, Strinton, Namshar, Guru, and someone I've forgotten about. Alright, so we're just waiting for the next game to get loaded up. Yeah, I'm 99% sure that was game number 1. So we should be getting to game number 2 in just a few moments' time. If it was game number 2 or something, then I apologise profusely, because as far as, again, I'm pretty sure it was just the start of the series, but we'll find out here momentarily. Looks as though DIMAGA is just in the lobby. And we'll jump into this in a couple of moments' time. Do I ever breathe? Yes, I do. Yeah, I guess sometimes I talk a bit too much even, right? Like, I guess just with solo casting all the time, I just talk and talk and talk. I just have so much to say, and I can't even say it all in time. Alright, we're going to be loading into Coda for map number 2. BlinG says he can't believe that, so sick, and he says he's ready. Like, I can understand. I think if he, I mean, obviously his control of that fight wasn't the best, but I really don't think he had the best army to deal with what was out there for BlinG, out there for DIMAGA. I don't really think he had a way to deal with the Broodlords. You know, even if he storms all the Broodlords and blinks underneath, I still don't think he's got enough DPS there. Well, I think he can take down the Broods, but I think he'll lose his entire army in doing so. Maybe not. Maybe I might be wrong, but that's just how it looked from my point of view. Either way, the fight he took, he was never going to win, but maybe with some better control, or with his hotkeys not messing up, maybe he would have been able to turn it into a victory. I'm sure BlinG knows what he's doing a lot more than I do, because the last time I tried to play PvZ, I probably died to the first 2 Zerglings that came onto the map. Protoss is by far my worst race. It's not even close to my other races, which is kind of hilarious. I just can't grab the concept of Protoss, which is funny, because I'm all the time, I'm like, God damn it, you Protoss players, all you do is sit there and do nothing, and you win. But I'm actually really bad at playing Protoss. I don't know what it is either. I really don't know. I think it's just because I never put any time at all into trying to learn Protoss. I think with Protoss you have to have really precise builds as well to really make things work. I've never really taken the time to learn the builds, which is probably the real issue. You know, with Zerg you can kind of, like, to an extent you can kind of just ring it, right? Like, you know, maybe if someone's hitting you with a timing, you're going to die because you don't really know, because you're not doing it right, but generally you can wing it. But with Protoss you need to be damn precise. Of course, with Terran you need to be fairly precise, but, you know, as I play Terran for my main race, that's obviously not the issue. Let's introduce our players to the top left corner of the map from Izimba, ladies and gentlemen. DIMAGA. And to the bottom right hand corner from Dignitas, it's going to be BlinG. Duncan Preber in the chat thinking BlinG had it. I honestly thought BlinG was in a really good spot that game. I really did. I felt as though until the Broodlords came out, he was in a fantastic spot. He was dealing with everything perfectly. He had Storm out in plenty of time to deal with the initial Zerglings. You know, he had Immortals in plenty of time to deal with the Ultras. He was catching Queens in the middle of the map. He was cleaning up creep. I think he was just a bit I think he should have tried to take a fight a little bit earlier. You know, obviously he always had Warp Prisms into his opponent's main. I just feel as though he should have just tried to take a fight a little bit sooner. I don't think he had anything to lose by engaging a little bit earlier. Because, I mean, he was pretty much maxed out for a long time. And all you do by waiting is allow more upgrades of your opponent to... I mean, what else was he waiting for? I mean, +3 attack maybe, I guess, for a little while potentially, but I don't think it would have been... I don't think he would have been waiting for that long. I'm not sure. I mean, again, it's a hard army to attack into. You have to attack from the right position, but I feel as though if you ran up kind of the left-hand side of the map, in that choke point area, it's very difficult for DIMAGA to deal with, because he comes out in a choke point, he's very well protected there, and as long as he's protected in that sort of choke point, Storms are going to be his best friend, Ultras aren't going to really be able to do a lot, so he can move forwards, attack, and pull back into that choke point as his kind of safety feature. you know, if things get a little bit troublesome for him. So yeah, again, I really don't think the Broodlords is what he was expecting, as Turkey Dano was saying in the chat. I think that's kind of, I mean, he saw the Corruptors, so he has to kind of expect it, because he didn't have any air units. So what else, you know, what's DIMAGA making Corruptors for? Is he really just making a few Corruptors to deal with the Warp Prism? Well, yeah, I guess it's a possibility, but I think he should have at least had an inkling to the potential of Broodlords. A couple of links here just being a little bit annoying. First panel coming down, Mothership Core will be able to clean this up in a few moments' time. And these couple of links getting turned away. Bit of a standard start here once again to the ZVP. 3 hatcheries coming up nice and quickly from DIMAGA. And BlinG just going to be moving out a little bit with the Mothership Core. Not too much though, again, just going to play fairly conservatively for now. Going to be walling off at the natural here in a few moments' time with a couple of gateways most likely, and from there we'll get set up into the rest of this game. So that's gateway 1, gateway 2 about to come down, and there we go. So 3 gateways in total for BlinG to begin with, and expect really just to see a forge behind this is the most standard way of things to happen, of standard way for things to occur. We're just sitting down at the bottom of this ramp right now. Another sentry comes down from the high ground. The ship core did make its way across the map, but didn't do much other than confirming the presence of that third base. It's actually going to be a Stargate once again from BlinG, so I mean he'll get his forge in the near future again, but he really does want to get this Oracle out early on, it seems. He went for it on Varney Research Station, he's going for it again here on Coda. It's obviously just the way he's comfortable with playing, and again the Oracle's a great addition to the army. I mean, not necessarily the army, but just an addition to your toolset as a pros player. You know, you have the ability to harass, pick off a couple of drones, slow the Zerg player down a little, but also it gives you that just so much map control if you keep it alive throughout the game. We saw last game it was a very useful tool in delaying the 4th base of DIMAGA. You're going to see this Oracle popping out here in just a few moments' time, so again, we'll keep an eye on that, see how BlinG is going to look to utilise it. Moves across the map with this Hallucinate Phoenix, sees the lair coming in nice and early, single evolution chamber this time. Going to be a Carapace build from DIMAGA, adds on a Roach Warren as well. No second speed from him just yet, so we'll keep an eye as to how exactly this is going to transition as the game goes on. For that Carapace, a few things on the way. He doesn't have second speed, does he? No, he doesn't. So just a little bit worried about potential aggression from BlinG right now, I assume, as third base is going to be dropped though, and DIMAGA will see this. So again, you shouldn't be too afraid of aggression. More scouts coming across the map, a Hallucinated Phoenix and this Oracle coming up towards this third base. Spore Crawler in position and combined with this Queen, Oracle should only really be able to pick off a couple of drones at most, if at that. And this Oracle continues to come across here, and we'll move in towards this natural expansion. In fact, there isn't a Spore Crawler here, so BlinG has found the sweet spot, and will come in and grabs 3 and going for 4 now. 4, 5, and potentially 6. We targeted the drone, which was ended up at the back of the pack. He might have been able to grab it, but unfortunately he was not quite able to there. In fact, there is still this open mineral line. Spore not ready yet, and the Queen out of position chasing the hallucination. Doesn't take the opportunity though. Very risky on that low health Oracle, and you would like to keep that alive for a later time in this game. Second speed now started, so it's going to be Roach speed as well. And that plus 1 Carapace on the way. I imagine overall he's going to commit into Roach attacks and Roach upgrades. But again, early on here, this could be the potential to be a little bit aggressive with a bit of Roach laying. That opportunity definitely is there, because he's got that plus 1 Carapace. It's going to be effective on all of his units, so could get a little bit messy here for BlinG in the next few moments. DIMAGA looking as though he wants to put some pressure on. Some more Lings on the way in that production tab. These rocks just being worked away at for now. Hallucinated Phoenix continues to scout here, and I mean, he sees a lot of Lings being made. He sees some Roaches being made and moving across the map too, so he has a pretty good idea about what's going on already. Now, the way he's going to want to deal with this is probably a couple of sentries and cannons at the natural expansion. Force fields on this ramp will delay units coming in from this direction. The rest of his units need to stick towards the third base so they can defend this left-hand side, and also units coming in from this angle as well. So again, very minimal number of units really needed at the natural, and again, the rest of the focus towards this third base. The Oracle is, you know, so useful right now. It's going to give him an exact idea as to where his opponent's units are at all times. We see a Void Ray join the army as well, and it's going to start working its way against these Roaches. And we're going to see where exactly is BlinG Is DIMAGA, sorry, going to commit, and it looks as though he's going to commit towards that natural. There's not much there just yet. No sentries to actually force field that off. And it looks as though that's because BlinG is looking to be interested in kind of coming in from the back and trying to engage this from here. A lot of zealots being warped in here. I mean, there's a lot of cannons as well. 3 cannons is a lot of DPS. And there's the force fields coming to trap these units in. Oracle continue to check out where these units are. No photon overcharge time warp or anything used just yet. The zealots are doing a great road coverage towards the natural here. BlinG, a brilliant defense so far. He's starting to lose a few sentries, but apart from that, this has been perfect for him. His +2 and BlinG is only just now on the way, so I mean, he hasn't been able to utilize that just yet. What a defense though. Great preparation. He knew it was coming. He prepared well with the cannons. Actually didn't need the sentries over here. Instead just opted to kind of use the zealots as kind of a continual wall. And engaged, came in from behind with the rest of his units to clean up, drop some force fields, trap some units in, let the zealots do some damage. Great defense so far. DIMAGA has a lot more units on the map though, and this is something which BlinG may not be expecting. He might have been expecting DIMAGA to drone up behind this, but that's not really the case. So honestly, BlinG being aggressive right now is not really the best situation for him. This Void Ray is going to find some roaches coming in from behind though, so he knows to be careful. Probably going to just clean out creep. He might just recall right now though, as he needs to be very, very careful. He just has some force fields available. I think he has to get out of here. There we go, recall coming down. He can't fight this army, just too many units. And again, that's because DIMAGA hasn't droned up here at all. He has just continued to mass units, so BlinG has to be very careful. This time around he's going to have +2. He's also going to have BlinG available to him. He's going to move out a little bit here and just start engaging this army. A couple of free shots. He does have a photon overcharge available. Force fields available too. And again, still them free cannons. This time he will warp in sentries to force field at the natural, but Roach is already starting to stream through here. He's let a few too many in already, I feel. At the third base though, he is doing a great job, and he's actually taking out quite a bit, and he's got enough now to advance forwards and maybe try and take on some of the units taking the fight out the natural. BlinG's still in a little bit of trouble at his natural, I feel, more than anything. The cannons are starting to dissipate and these roaches are starting to make their way through. Takes down the pylon to open that up, and BlinG's actually force fielded himself away from being able to help here. Reinforcements coming in from the high ground. That Void Ray is still untouchable in the sky, but his natural nexus might be in a little bit of trouble here. DIMAGA going to focus that down though, which means he's going to take a lot of free damage on these roaches. BlinG hits the supply block after he lost so many pylons, losing the nexus as well. He will clean this up, but losing that natural nexus is not a good scenario for him. BlinG's continuing to stream in here, and is BlinG actually going to just die from this? I don't think he should. I think he should be able to continue cleaning this out. He rebuilds his nexus. BlinG's continuing to stream forwards here, but he's taking out a lot. DIMAGA doing some serious work, but losing a lot at the same time. As BlinG blinks forward, again, a counterattack could be on the cards here from BlinG. He still sits ahead in worker supply. No 4th base from his opponent yet. I mean, he just lost a lot of sentries, so, you know, energy is rare right now, so you can't really just send a unit across the map. He's actually got an observer. I'd love to see him go check for 4th base. If you can see a 4th base, or the lack of a 4th base, he's going to be able to know, right, okay, I'm not in that bad of a position. I don't really need to pressure too much here, because once my natural comes back up, I probably have as good as, if not a better, economy as my opponent. He will take a fight in the middle of the map here again, +2 against +2, only it's attack versus armor. And this time BlinG actually will make it a fair way across the map without being turned around. Just cleaning up a couple of units here as he prepares for an attack again. This is the counterattack to follow up this aggression from DIMAGA. DIMAGA again, he's been attacking, but now he's stuck on only Roachling, which is not the best of units in terms of fighting a Protoss army here. BlinG continue to warp in Stalkers, and if he can get to that critical mass, he might just be able to overrun DIMAGA in the next few moments. Hydras are on the way, +1 missiles coming in as well, as this Oracle looking for a way to try and find some damage, but can't find anything just yet. Will just escape down to the south side. We'll actually find some Lings, which you can try and take out if you'd like to use the energy on that. We'll use Revelation instead, keep track of that army. DIMAGA a little bit blind right now, doesn't really know where his opponent's army is, has no idea it's actually advancing forwards right now, and, well, very quick response, very nice response from DIMAGA to move away, but BlinG doing the right thing. He's chasing down a couple of units, which are kind of just free units, you know, they're not with the rest of the army, so it's kind of just free pickings for him. It makes the main army a little bit weaker, as DIMAGA moves a lot over to this left-hand side, and that means there isn't too much here on the high ground of this third base. And we're going to see BlinG starting to move up here. Some force fields going to come down, block off a few of these hiders from joining the engagement. These roaches are going to keep moving forwards here. Some Lings coming in from behind, which is nice, but again, I think with the upgrades on these Stalkers, the +2 attack is just so vicious. I mean, again, +2 caps is available, but the +2 attack's just doing so much, and +3 is about to kick in. These Stalkers are doing a fantastic job so far. That being said, DIMAGA's not dead yet. He is holding on here. And Time Warp comes down. A nice little Time Warp will grab a couple of these Hydras and will stop these units moving down the ramp quite so easily. DIMAGA continuing to come in from a couple of angles, making this a difficult engagement for BlinG, who might be about to lose this mothership core. That's going to be forfeit here to these Hydralisks. And BlinG, with only Stalkers left over, will just have to back away from this. Fourth base begins. No fourth base on site just yet from DIMAGA, but he has this scary number of Hydralisks here. And again, BlinG doesn't have anything to deal with them other than BlinG Stalkers. So again, he's just kind of relying on mass BlinG Stalker right now. Again, I wouldn't actually mind him adding on just a few more sentries to be able to force field a little bit of this off, because I think that's kind of what he needs right now. I think just straight up Stalkers probably won't be enough, and there are a few sentries being warped in here. I really think he needs a couple of these force fields. He won't have Guardian Shield available just yet, although it would be useful. In this position here, I mean, force fields are great. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden DIMAGA just cannot move down the ramp whatever he tries. I like what he's doing. He's coming around the other side though. No muscular augments on the Hydralisk just yet, however, which means that he's not able to really kind of get here in any kind of quick speed. But I think BlinG's sort of figuring out what's going on. He's seen that there's not many units over here. He might just want to blink on top of these units and force field behind him. Then again, he would force field himself out of the natural, but he'll keep himself safe for quite a while. In fact, he might not even need to. Nice force fields. I think that was probably the right decision to just trap a few units here, and it kind of makes DIMAGA commit to the fight. BlinG, I think, going to be able to convincingly take. He's going to be able to blink on top of these Hydras. There's nothing to really protect them, so they're all just going to go down. And BlinG has just played this out beautifully. I mean, he defended well initially, and he knew that counterattacking was probably the right way to go. He counterattacked, he put on a lot of pressure, and he really was just able to kind of hang in there, keep his opponent back, stop him from really ever getting onto that fourth base, stop him from ever really teching up. Okay, he was able to make Hydras, but you know, he made a bunch of Hydras, but that was kind of it. It was just Hydras that he had in that army, and BlinG just had a few too many Stalkers. And I think the main thing was, I think in a straight up fight, DIMAGA, if he does come in from both sides, he can probably win. But the way BlinG was engaging, he was always aware of where his opponent's army might be, and taking advantage of kind of the lack of creep, of the fact that DIMAGA was being aggressive off creep, because he almost had to be able to get anything done, to kind of be in the game still. We're going to be jumping back into this series in a couple of moments. It's one game apiece now between BlinG and DIMAGA in this best of 3. Sorry guys, again, I am kind of impromptu casting tonight, so my mum was just wondering what I was going to do for food, so apologies for just muting on you guys out of nowhere. I tell you what though, while this game starts, okay, in the next break I'll go grab myself a drink. I'll be able to survive until the game starts, at least I'm sure. Okay, yeah, I will. Alright. So we're going to jump into DIMAGA versus BlinG Game 3 here in just a couple of moments time, waiting for our players to ready up. How's everyone doing? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, for an impromptu stream, we're doing pretty darn well. Actually at 900 viewers, which is kind of insane. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Again, hope you're enjoying the show so far today. If you do enjoy the casting, make sure you hit that follow button. I am now full-time with StarCraft 2. So you'll be able to see me live every single day, casting, streaming in general, and going to a few events as well. So again, hit follow if you're enjoying it. If you really want to help support me, you can also subscribe to the channel too, as we're going to jump into Expedition Lost for this third game of this best of 3. To the north side of the map, northeast corner, I should say, we do have the red Zerg player from Izimba. It's DIMAGA. And down to the bottom left, the blue Protoss player from Dignitas, and it's BlinG. BlinG hates Robo. I don't know if it's more that BlinG hates Robo more than he just saw the opportunity to end the game on with just the Stalkers. Like, he didn't. I mean, he was kind of just defending. I mean, he had a Robo up. He just obviously didn't see the need to use it. So so he didn't, I suppose. Obvious comment. All right, so. Quickly eating the crust of my sandwich from earlier. Again, there wasn't really. I wasn't really planning to cast at all here tonight. So again, I apologise for being a little bit rude and grabbing a quick bite to eat and muting for a couple of moments during that last break. Yeah, I actually really need a drink, but we'll go get that sorted after this game. So yeah, what's going on? Not too much. Pull first, probe scouting, and DIMAGA with a cute little hide on that probe and on that drone, and able to get his hatchery down nice and quickly here, without it being blocked by that probe. My mum being awesome and apparently hearing that I need a drink and brought me a drink, so that is very convenient. Oh my god, I really needed that. Okay, enough about me and my needs, and back to the game. So I mean, not really too much going on. I mean, better for this to happen early on in a ZVP than any other matchup, because I always say, in my own opinion, that Zerg versus Protoss at the start of the game is kind of a little bit dull. We don't really see too much going on, and especially when the Zerg player just plays Gaster's free hatch. There's really, you know, when that happens, we really never see anything. We never really see anything taking place early on. I mean, maybe you see a little bit of aggression from the Protoss player, but they kind of fell out with style even. So even now, we don't really see too much. I mean, again, the most exciting thing that takes place early on here is the probe being chased by a couple of Zerglings, and it will actually be chased all the way back to the natural here. Was going to go return the minerals to that Nexus, but actually can't afford to, because it probably would have died. Couple of Lings again in this natural expansion, just being a little bit annoying here. Going to try and grab a probe or two, but they shouldn't really be too successful. Mothership core now out, and the Lings will just be turned away, and they're splitting up already, just covering all exit points, watching for any probe out on the map. So I mean, DIMAGA's in a nice position, because to his knowledge, there's no probe on the map. You know, he turned that first probe away, and now he's got really good vision of any other probe leaving the base. So he's got a really good idea as to whether his opponent is going to be getting any pylons out onto the map. Once again, 3 gates here for BlinG. And yeah, just going up to 3 gates nice and quickly. A couple of drones transferring down towards the low ground for DIMAGA, and we'll see what BlinG wants to follow up with. I mean, it's going to be up to him as to how the next few moments of this game will go. Is he going to add that Stargate again? I mean, he's done it in game 1 and 2 so far. Is he going to go straight into the Forge? I mean, it doesn't really look as though he's going to go for any kind of aggression. A lot of sentries on the way out, though. So, not really too much gas. Oh, okay. I guess he does have gas. That's Mothership core just moving around. Looking to try and deny a creep team here. We won't quite get it, though, as 3 gates now finish. Again, no real tech just yet. There it is, the Forge going down, so we get our answer as to what BlinG is looking to do in this game. So, it's going to be pretty passive from BlinG. I mean, not really too much for him to do with this investment into the Forge. Unless he wants to 2-base all in, he's probably just going to sit back, take the 3rd base, and just defend here early on should DIMAGA try and do anything. There's no real reason for him to try and attack it can only really lead to bad things, because again, he doesn't have many units just yet, and the units he does have, again, he's going to be focusing on defending with. So a couple of pounds going to come down, and he's going to get that cannon up as well, and just get this third base nice and secure, nice and early here out on the map. So nice stuff. BlinG just playing this very standard so far, fast third base. I mean, we see this all the time in PvZ nowadays. It's very rare we actually see pros. I mean, obviously we still see 2-base all-ins, but it's very rare we see pros who intends to go to 3 bases ever really delay the third base later than 8 minutes. I mean, sometimes we see it super early at 6 minutes or so, but I mean, 8 minutes is just so standard. And we're going to see a little bit of a push out on the map from BlinG. He's actually invested into a lot of sentries this time around, so skipping that Stargate, he's had a lot of extra gas, and with that extra gas, he's going to take map control via the sentry push. Got a recall available, of course. And this just forces some units out of DIMAGA, who's actually investing into burrow movement and roach speed, as well as the roach burrow. So this is very interesting. He's got the double roach run up somewhere, right? Right. I'm trying to find the second one. I might be completely blind. Oh, it's right at the front. Okay, I wasn't really being blind. It's a very weird place to put your second roach run. But this is a build, I think it was Departure that did this against Hero in Pro League. I didn't actually catch that game, but I saw someone else doing it, which I can't remember, but I remember whoever it was, whoever was commentating it, mentioned that this was what Departure did, at least I think. So kind of interesting moves here by DIMAGA, but right now, there's a lot of sentries at his front door, and he might be in a little bit of trouble. Nice force fields to begin with here for BlinG. I would have liked to see them 2 force fields coming down a little bit sooner. Pulling the sentries back, not losing any just yet. Stalkers to help DPS. A few Zells coming in from behind to try and help against these roaches, as the roaches just get taken down, and these units just going to move forwards, and they're just going to be able to pick away here at these roaches. A nice set of force fields once again. That's going to give complete access over towards this third base, and I think that BlinG might be able to just kill this off here. That being said, burrow movement is about to finish, the force fields are about to be negated, and BlinG doesn't have a rover facility just yet, but he does have a recall available. So DIMAGA can now burrow and move under these force fields, but he's going to lose the hatchery, and BlinG's just going to recall out there. He loses 2 sentries, I think, on the way out. I think it's actually just 1. And what an attack from BlinG. But now he's got a big issue. He's got to deal with this burrow roach attack. He's done a lot of damage, he's killed that third base, but he has to be able to defend the counterattack, and he might even want to move into his own natural here. He might even be worth him. Actually, I'm just going to say I love this. He's going to be able to force field the ramp, but of course these roaches, they have burrow, and they're just going to get right under this army. DIMAGA's going to pop right up. These sentries aren't going to be able to do anything, and BlinG is in a lot of trouble here, I think, because these roaches, there's just so many of them moving forwards, going to be able to take out so many of these sentries. A few of these stalkers as well. And I think DIMAGA's just going to completely roll over BlinG. BlinG did a lot with that attack, but he just didn't have the tools back at home to be ready to deal with this incoming roach burrow, and he's in the worst possible position. I think if he sits up at the high ground, his natural sacrifices his third base. I think that's the best way to go about it. I think he has to do that because, I mean,